You read the book, you highlighted the quotes, you even tried the habit stacking thing for what, maybe 2 weeks, and then you fell off. Again, just like every other time. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to admit. Atomic habits isn't failing you. Your brain is actively rejecting the entire system. And until you understand why, you'll keep buying more self-help books, trying more productivity apps, and wondering why nothing ever sticks. Same pattern, same result. See, James Clear gave you the blueprint. But he forgot to mention one critical thing. Some people's minds are wired to sabotage every habit they try to build. And that sabotage happens beneath your conscious awareness. Today, we're going to expose the 10 hidden reasons why the world's most popular habit book doesn't work for most people. More importantly, we're going to fix each one. Let's begin. The identity trap. James Clear says you need to focus on identity-based habits. Become the type of person who exercises rather than trying to exercise. Sounds great in theory, but here's what he didn't tell you. The stories we tell ourselves about ourselves become the prisons we live in. Your identity isn't just something you choose. It's something that was programmed into you over decades. Your parents told you who you were. Your teachers reinforced it. Society confirmed it. And now you're supposed to just decide to be someone different. The reason this fails is because your subconscious mind has a massive database of evidence about who you are. Every time you failed at a diet, every time you quit the gym, every incomplete project, your brain references this data constantly. So when you say, "I'm the type of person who works out," your subconscious immediately responds, "No, you're not. Remember January. Remember that gym membership you never used." The fix isn't just declaring a new identity. It's actively dismantling the old one first. But that brings us to an even deeper problem. Willpower myth. Atomic Habits promises you don't need willpower. Just design your environment and the habits will happen automatically. This is partially true, but it misses something crucial about how your brain actually works. Willpower isn't just about resisting temptation. It's about cognitive load. Every decision you make depletes the same mental resource. What to wear, what to eat, how to respond to that email. By the time you get to your habit, you're already running on empty. Your brain is fried before the day even starts. A study from Case Western Reserve found that people who had to resist chocolate chip cookies gave up on puzzles 50% faster than those who didn't. Same mental energy, different drain. The environment design helps, but if your life is already overwhelming, no amount of habit stacking will save you. If this is hitting close to home for you, hit like and subscribe to understand more about how your brain actually works. Because what comes next might explain your entire struggle. Here's what you actually need to address first. The 2-minute lie. The 2-minute rule. Just start with something so small you can't say no. Want to read more? Read 1 page. Want to exercise? Put on your shoes. Simple, right? But here's the psychological trap nobody talks about. Feels too small, feels pointless. When something feels insignificant, your brain doesn't give it priority. You know reading 1 page won't change your life. So your brain files it under not important, and what's not important gets skipped. There's also a deeper issue. The 2-minute rule assumes you have trouble starting, but most people don't have a starting problem. They have a continuing problem. They start all the time. January 1st, Monday morning, tomorrow. The issue isn't beginning, it's maintaining. As the philosopher Heraclitus observed, day by day, what you think and what you do is who you become. 1 page doesn't make a reader. Consistent pages do. The 2-minute rule gets you moving, but it doesn't address why you keep stopping. And that stopping point, it's connected to something even more fundamental. Reward blindness. Make it satisfying. That's the 4th law. Add immediate rewards to your habits. Track your progress. Celebrate small wins. The problem, your brain has been hijacked. Social media, streaming, processed food, they've all trained your dopamine system to expect massive rewards for zero effort. The satisfaction of checking off a habit, your brain barely registers it. It's like trying to enjoy a candle after staring at the sun. Research from Stanford shows that variable reward schedules, like what social media uses, create the strongest addiction patterns. Meanwhile, Habit tracking gives you predictable, small rewards. Your nervous system yawns. The fix isn't adding more rewards. It's actually withdrawing from the hyperstimulation that's numbing your brain. But that requires understanding a concept that Atomic Habits barely touches. This leads directly into the biggest oversight in the entire book: trauma blocks. This is where it gets uncomfortable. Atomic Habits treats you like a blank slate, like you can just implement systems and get results. But what if your nervous system has a different plan? Unprocessed trauma creates unconscious resistance to change. If you grew up in chaos, your brain might actually fear stability. If success was punished in your household, your subconscious will sabotage every good habit. If receiving attention led to danger, part of you will ensure you never stand out. This isn't weakness. It's your nervous system doing what it was programmed to do: keep you safe. The body keeps the score. The mind may forget, but the body remembers. Van der Kolk's research on trauma shows that these patterns live in your body, not just your mind. No habit system can override your survival instincts. The person who keeps failing at health habits might not lack discipline. They might have learned that taking care of themselves wasn't safe. Until this gets addressed, habit systems are just band-aids on bullet wounds. But there's another invisible barrier that affects almost everyone: the stress factor. When you're stressed, your brain literally changes modes. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning, discipline, and long-term thinking, goes offline. Your amygdala takes over. Survival mode. Fight, flight, freeze, forget. In this state, habits don't just become harder. They become neurologically impossible. Your brain is focused on immediate threats, not future benefits. Atomic Habits assumes a baseline level of psychological safety that many people simply don't have. If you're stressed about money, relationships, health, or work, your habit system will collapse every single time. A study published in Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews confirmed that chronic stress impairs habit formation at the biological level. Your hippocampus shrinks. Your neural pathways for routine behaviors literally degrade. Your brain is fighting against you. The solution isn't pushing harder. It's reducing stress first, then building habits. But most people have the order backwards. And speaking of getting things backwards, system worship. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Beautiful quote, completely overused and potentially dangerous. Here's why. Perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. When systems become the focus, something strange happens. You start optimizing endlessly, perfecting your morning routine, designing the ideal environment, creating elaborate tracking systems. You become so obsessed with the system that you forget the actual outcome. You can have the perfect system and still get zero results. This is called productive procrastination. You feel like you're making progress because you're working on your system, but you're avoiding the real work. The person who spent 3 hours setting up a habit tracker, they didn't read the book. The person who bought all the gym equipment for home, they still didn't exercise. Systems should be invisible. The moment they become the main character, something's wrong. But this obsession with systems points to an even deeper issue: missing why. Atomic Habits focuses heavily on how to make habits obvious, how to make them attractive, how to make them easy, but it barely touches the why. And without a compelling why, every system eventually fails. Viktor Frankl survived the Nazi concentration camps. His observation changed psychology forever. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. The prisoners who survived weren't the physically strongest. They were the ones with a reason to keep living, a family to return to, a book to write, a purpose beyond themselves. Your habits need the same thing, not just systems. Soul. Why do you actually want to be healthier? Not the surface reason, the real one. What does it connect to? Who does it serve? Purpose drives everything. When your habits are connected to something bigger than yourself, you don't need tricks. The motivation regenerates itself. But most people skip this work entirely. And that connects to perhaps the most overlooked factor of all: isolation problem. Atomic Habits is a book you read alone. The habits you build are usually done alone. And that isolation might be your biggest obstacle. Human beings are tribal creatures. For thousands of years, we survived through connection, not individual effort. We become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. This isn't just motivational fluff. It's neuroscience. Mirror neurons in your brain literally copy the behaviors of people around you. If your social circle doesn't exercise, you're fighting evolution itself to work out. A famous study in the New England Journal of Medicine found that obesity spreads through social networks. If your friends gain weight, you're 57% more likely to gain weight too. Your environment includes people, not just places. The same applies to every habit: reading, meditation, financial discipline. If nobody around you does it, your brain registers it as abnormal, as potentially dangerous, as something to avoid. The atomic approach treats habits as individual engineering problems, but humans are social animals operating in tribal systems. And that brings us to the final piece that ties everything together: integration fix. So what's the actual solution? It's not abandoning atomic habits, it's integrating what's missing. First, address your nervous system before your systems. If you're chronically stressed or carrying unprocessed trauma, no habit will stick. Regulate first. Build second. 1. Heal before you optimize. 2. Find your deeper why. 3. Build your tribe. 4. Simplify ruthlessly. 5. Trust the compound effect. Second, connect every habit to a meaning bigger than yourself. Not "I want to be fit, but I want to be present for my children." Third, find your people. One accountability partner changes everything. A community multiplies it. Fourth, reduce before you add. Cut the overstimulation, the endless options, the cognitive load. Make space for habits to matter. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And finally, be patient. 1% daily compounds. The compound effect works, but only if you address what's been blocking it all along. Atomic habits isn't broken. Your implementation was incomplete. James Clear gave you the mechanics, but mechanics without psychology is like a car without fuel. It looks good. It just doesn't move. The system was never the problem. The foundation was. You now understand the 10 invisible barriers that stop habits from forming: identity conflicts, willpower depletion, reward numbness, trauma responses, chronic stress, system worship, missing purpose, social isolation. These aren't excuses, they are explanations. And explanations give you power to change. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The next time you pick up a self-help book, don't just ask how. Ask what's stopping you from implementing what you already know. That's where the real transformation happens. If you made it this far, comment habit reprogram to prove you're ready to build on a solid foundation. Remember, habits aren't built. They're integrated. And now you know how to do both. If this changed how you see habit building, share it with someone who keeps starting over. They need to hear this.